I may be stupid. I mentioned in another video that this is a car that appeared in a horror movie or a Halloween movie. We've got the Cadillac Meteor. We've got the Lamborghini Countach. They also relate to the spooky season in some way. It didn't. I was desperately hoping it'd be one that I didn't know. I was wrong. Fortunately, it has appeared in a number of other movies, so my backside is kind of saved. Lamborghini. Mad V12 supercars. And possibly the most iconic of them all, or at least to a certain generation, the Countach. It also happens to be probably my favourite supercar ever, and one of my favourite cars in general ever. Started out in 1974 as the LP400 and ended production in 1988 in the form of the 25th anniversary. Now, I have no idea which generation of Countach this is. It could be an LP400, could be an LP500, could be an LP5000. Two of those have the number that corresponds to their amount of horsepower. Can you guess which ones? Anyway, so, Lamborghini Countach. It is a movie star in lots of ways, but let's focus on the two really big ones. Technically three. First of all, the Wolf of Wall Street. There is a really iconic white Countach. I think it ends up getting totaled. Then there is also one of the two all-time greats, automotive films. The Cannonball Run and the Cannonball Run 2. Now, I think the second one is one we should focus on, because the Cannonball Run, I think, still happens today. I haven't actually watched the film, I know, it's a sin. But the Cannonball Run is, I think, when you have to drive from the west coast to the east coast, or the east coast to the west coast, I can't remember which, of America. Currently, I'm gonna say it's held by an Audi. It was an Audi like S8 or A8 with range extending fuel tanks. Did I mention it's not legal? Which means that it is possibly the coolest thing ever. But this car didn't need movie appearances to be well known, because this is a car which spread its name purely through word of mouth. Now, that is a really, really risky advertising strategy, but it worked. In the 1970s, you either liked one of two supercars, this or the Ferrari Boxer, and there were fights over it. People defacing each other's posters, all-out war. Okay, maybe I'm over-exaggerating, but still, it was literally the 1970s version of Ronaldo or Messi, which has absolutely cemented this as a real icon of the automotive world, complete with that wonderful boomerang rear wing, which isn't something it had when it was made. Every single Countach's rear wing was applied in the factory car park by employees. It wasn't done on the production line, which is very, very Lamborghini. They were also hopelessly impractical, which is even more Lamborghini. You had to, in the earlier ones at least, the cabin was cramped and hot, but they fixed that on the Quattro Valvoli and post-Quattro Valvoli models. It also had no rear visibility, which means that you had to basically put up the scissor door, and hang out if you wanted to double park it. Not double park it, parallel park it. And by the way, steering was really, really heavy. So that's wonderful. At one point in the world, this was one of the fastest cars in the world. It did in excess of 180, although without the rear wing, because the rear wing would actually push the front up and cause bad stuff. This is Lamborghini though. Looking good is looking better. What? Looking good is better than looking than where you're going. I am so sorry I butchered that. Anyway, you'd better look where you're going in this because it is quite quick. And by quite quick I mean stupidly quick. This is one hell of a car, or at least it would be if I could actually, drive forwards without my phone fucking with me. Or without me driving into a tree. But in actuality, compared to the cars around it, again, it's not that quick. This is what we had with the Cadillac Meteor yesterday. But yes, it's quick in its own right, but that's just because dealership Tycoon cars as a general are. On its own, it's not all that, to be honest. Now, I get that it's a classic car and it's not maybe supposed to be fast, but come on, do my boy justice for once. But handling was traditionally the really, really, really weak point of Countach's. But in this, it is still a relatively weak point. It's quite heavy, I'll be honest. And you end up loading up the back tyres quite a lot, so it will every so often skip and bounce. Fun fact about the back tyres even, they are the biggest, or at least they were the biggest, ever fitted to any production car ever. They're also much thinner than the front ones, which is why, because it's kind of similar to a drag setup, it understeered like a pig. Sorry about that. Anyway, if I could actually get over to some corners without my phone trying to steer me the wrong way, that'd be really nice. Although, still really does need a bit of work because it is understeering. The one time I don't want something accurate to real life. So, shouldn't be very good round the circuit then. It's a real shame. I have wanted this car in Dealership Tycoon for quite a long time now. And it's a case of never meet your heroes. Just like the real life Countach. Genuinely upset about this one. What's worse is that it's a fake model. So they haven't even done really good with the model either. I am annoyed. So, as we cruise through the final few corners of the circuit, we end up with a 31.78 lap time. Which really isn't very good compared to some cars around it. Countach. Named after what someone came into the room and saw it, exclaimed. Because Countach is an Italian exclamation of surprise. Or wonder, I guess? I don't know, it's definitely some sort of exclamation though. Unfortunately, the Countach we have is not worthy of the word Countach. It's just disappointing and forgettable. Forget the Wolf on Wall Street, this isn't the bad wolf, this is the mid-wolf. So, on that terrible disappointment. You shouldn't buy this car, and I'm going to get out of here as soon as possible. I will see you tomorrow, however, with a sort of familiar face, but the face has had plastic surgery. And no, it's not a fake model. See you then, hopefully.